We are privileged as being the only city that has actually a natural park. And we know the Nairobi National Park, which of course currently is under immense pressure. But then we're looking at our setting within the tropical region. We have a lot of greenery that has been under due pressure. We know a part of this has been over generations, like Wangari Maathai, the late Nobel Laureate, fought so hard to protect one of our parks, the central Uhuru Park. And so Nairobi rightfully deserves that name because we are a green city that is full of biodiversity, but this is under immense threat. Yeah. Nice. Most of our buildings and infrastructure obviously are encroaching on this green land that was basically preserved for biodiversity nature and the trees. We are cutting down trees to be able to build the buildings. If we look at our national park, for example, we currently have part of the park that is split by the SGR line. And we have the developing neighborhoods like, Rongai. We are looking at those emerging townships that are really exerting huge pressure in terms of even pushing some of, the greenery areas that we have. The livestock, then, the wildlife that were moving within those channels are beginning to have a bit of problem, moving freely. Some years back, we had an incident that we had lions walking on the street. And this is something that we have not seen for generations. That tells us that actually we have to rethink how we coexist, how we develop our infrastructure while at the same time conserving the rich nature that we have had as a city. Thankfully, as Kenya, our grid is very much green because we are sourcing much of our electricity from hydro and geothermal, but we can be able to harness more of Nairobi being a green city under the sun. We get more than 8 hours of sunshine. Can we be able to harness part of this sun and use it to power our buildings? How do we deal with the waste that we are generating from the buildings so that these wastes don't become resources that are wasted? If you look at many of the cities that are really growing, Nairobi is not polluted as many of the cities, part of course of the greenery. But then we are also looking at being a city within the tropics. We are able to enjoy sunshine almost every full part of the day, natural lighting. We don't need air conditioners for most of our buildings unless they're specialized. So we are basically living with nature within the city. For the 12 hours working, 8 hours working time in a day, you're basically getting natural air, natural lighting, you're breathing fresh air from the city. That is the true genius of Nairobi as a green city under the sun.
The biggest challenge for the park is because of the growing population on the periphery. There's been suggestions by a former director, Dr. David Weston, that the Nairobi National Park should be fenced, which personally I'm totally opposed to. Reason being is it then turns it into a zoo. It then turns it into a genetic nightmare because you've got no movement of game outside, going out, interacting and breeding with other related species outside, bringing new genes back into the park. It would lock everything in. Today we're talking about climate change. We'll talk about the importance of clean air. Here we have an environment in the middle of the city where the air is unpolluted. Living on the periphery on the southern side is paradise because you're not breathing in all the nonsense and the rubbish and the noise and all the rest of it. Very, very critical to the park.